I hope well. Let me know if I'm properly audible and visible. Anyone can confirm? I'm assuming things are working well. So, welcome to this session. And I'm Niharika John Mehra with experience of 10 plus years of teaching English. And this is your editorial session. Editorial session में what we are doing? We are covering every single thing. तो हम यहाँ पे skimming सीख रहे हैं, हम अच्छी खासी vocabulary cover करते हैं. What we do is also cover grammar and some MCQ. Okay, so these are four things that we cover, and these four things are really required for you to improve your all over English. English as a subject, as a part of your syllabus, is not only about one of these things. It's a combination of everything. तो आपको सभी चीज का मिक्स यूज करते आना चाहिए, स्पेशली अगर आप हायर लेवल क्वेश्चन, आई मीन टू से लाइक officer level preparation कर रहे हैं एग्जाम की, then you are required to work for your descriptive also, and for that you need more knowledge of all these things, है ना. इसलिए editorial करना नहीं छोड़ना है. Even in your personal time, maybe someday class is not there or so, you have to continue doing it. Okay, coming to uh, something very important. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you are new. And अगर अभी तक आपने टेलीग्राम ज्वाइन नहीं करा है, join टेलीग्राम ग्रुप फॉर फ्री पीडीएफ्स. So we are going to start with skimming, जहाँ पर आपको जंप कर करके पढ़ना है. Not all the words are needed. For example, goods and services टैक्स है, तो इसको नहीं पढ़ना है, आपको जीएसटी बोलना है. मन में जीएसटी देख के ही समझ जाना है. डोंट प्रोनाउंस, है ना. आपको एक एक शब्द ऐसे नहीं पढ़ना है जैसे कि आपको इसको ट्रांसलेट करना हो या एज अ स्पीच याद करना हो. रिमेंबर दिस. ओके, सो देयर वी गो. अभी आपके लिए टाइमर रहेगा. यू हैव टू कंप्लीट रीडिंग इन 2.5 minutes. ओके, एंड आपको ऐसे पढ़ना है दैट यू डू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्टेक्स्ट, you do understand the main message. Okay, not that you have to memorize the whole thing. Very short but take time. Let's understand. Are you people there with me? Able to get any? Can, if it's possible, can you give one line summary, 2 line summary of this? Cool. So, sees the cess on the GST and reform. So यहाँ पे एक sort of appeal कर रहा है author. Okay, cess is the surcharges that we pay. Low GST collections speak the need for structural reform. So of course low GST collection हुआ है, which means we have to work somewhere. The 8th anniversary of GST on July 1 coincided with the poorest tax collection in the indirect tax system the indirect tax system has seen in some time, highlighting the need for structural changes in the system. So the 8th anniversary of GST, it has come along with the poorest tax collection. Anniversary pay, it's not a good gift that we have received, and that shows that we need to make some changes in the structure. Latest GST collection stood at, means itna collection हुआ 1.85 lakh crore in June 25, lowest in 4 months. This amount was just 6.2, itna higher tha, itna percentage higher tha than the collections in June 2024, the slowest growth rate in 4 years. Okay, so it was only 6.2 higher. We were looking forward maybe to something more. Looking past the gross collections, the data show that once refunds are accounted for, the growth in the government's actual collections was just 3.3%. तो ये जो हम देखते हैं डेटा शो वंस रिफंड्स आर अकाउंटेड फॉर रिफंड वगैरह हो जाते हैं, तो एक्चुअल कलेक्शन में तो सिर्फ 3% का बढ़ोतरी आई है. Further, the revenue from domestic transactions, excluding imports, was an anemic. Anemic is the word this is used when iron is needed a lot for human beings. Iron content, hemoglobin drops in a person. This is like one of the lifelines of our of a country, of our system. इसलिए we are saying anemic, that is lacking in something. 4.6 higher than in June last year, barely faster than the average rate of inflation since then, little bit more than the inflation rate. Being a consumption tax, a dip in GST collection reflects a dip in economic activity. GST क्यों कम है, लोग खरीदारी कम कर रहे हैं. But it also reflects insufficiencies in systems which must now suitably be addressed. अभी 8 साल हो गए, अब एड्रेस करने की ज़रूरत है. A common demand is for fuel to be included in GST. एक डिमांड है कि फ्यूल को भी इंक्लूड करो, उस पर भी जीएसटी लगाओ. देयर इज हाउएवर स्ट्रॉन्ग रेजिस्टेंस टू डू दिस फ्रॉम स्टेट गवर्नेंस. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स बोल रहे हैं दे आर नॉट इन द फेवर ऑफ दिस. Since fuel and alcohol are the few sources of revenue states have with them that are independent of the center. These two are where they can, the state gets the money. It has no interference of the center. However, this cannot be reason enough to perpetually keep these items excluded. But author says this is not a valid reason. It's one nation, one tax after all, and it is high time that the goal was achieved in full. As for the revenue hit to states, the center must accede to the request for a higher share in central taxes. We did an article a few days back where share of states with respect to taxes, we saw that states would want more of the percentage. So, if they have requested for a higher share, that should be done. Center must also stop increasingly relying on non-shareable cesses for its revenue. Center को भी थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा रिलाई नहीं करना है on such cesses जो कि shareable है, जो कि उनको बांटना पड़ा है स्टेट से. For their part, states must resist the temptation to use this higher amount on election-oriented untargeted freebies. ना untargeted freebies मतलब कि यहाँ पे कैंपेन वगैरह में कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें करना जो कि सिर्फ इलेक्शन जीतने के लिए unnecessarily करी जा रही. They should not put a lot of money in that. Trust goes two ways. The other popular reform is reduction in the number of GST rates. एक पॉपुलर रिफॉर्म ये हो सकता है, सजेशन है ऑथर का, कि नंबर ऑफ जीएसटी रेट्स कम कर दो. दिस टू इज ओवरड्यू एंड जीएसटी काउंसिल्स फिटमेंट एंड रेट सेटिंग कमिटीज आर एग्जामिनिंग द इशू. ये अंडर एग्जामिन है. Connected to this is the question of what is to be done with the GST compensation cess, which is levied over and above the 28% slab. So connected to this is the question कि GST compensation में क्या हो सकता है, GST compensation cess के साथ क्या करा जा सकता है, जो कि कब लिया जाता है, above 28%. It was originally intended to compensate states for any losses. पहले क्या होता था ये कि states को कुछ नुकसान हुआ है तो उसकी भरपाई हो जाती थी over a period of 5 years. It was then extended till March 26 to repay the loan taken by the center to pay this compensation since the COVID-19 pandemic had disrupted revenues. तो उस समय के लोन को चुकता करने के लिए ये डेडलाइन बढ़ा दी, एक्सटेंड कर दी. The center should avoid the temptation to subsume this cess into a broader GST rates. Now, अब सेंटर को क्या करना है, ये टेम्पटेशन में नहीं जाना है. क्या टेम्पटेशन है? To subsume this cess into broader GST rates. अब इसको एक प्रकार से इंक्लूड कर ले जीएसटी रेट्स में और बढ़ा दे, सेस को इंक्लूड करके जीएसटी रेट ही बढ़ा दे. Instead, with this job done, the cess must be removed. तो सेस का काम हो गया, तो अब क्यों लगाया जाए? Taxation is not just a covenant between center and the tax. It is also one with the people. ये सिर्फ सेंटर टैक्स के बीच की बात नहीं, लोगों से भी रिलेट करता है. Removing a cess that is no longer needed will only garner public praise. ऐसा टैक्स का हिस्सा जो टॉप अप है, अलग से लग रहा है, उसको अगर हटा देंगे तो पब्लिक तो पहले ऑफ कोर्स अप्रिशिएट करेगी, बट कुड आल्सो स्पर सम सोरली नीडेड अर्बन कंजम्पशन. तो लोग जो कंज्यूम नहीं कर रहे, जो नहीं खरीद रहे, मे बी वो कंजम्पशन रेट बढ़ जाए. सो थोड़ा टैक्स कम करके बेसिकली लोगों की एक का एक्सपेंडिचर बढ़ाया जा सकता है. ओके, होप यू आर गेटिंग द पॉइंट नाउ. Buffering. Is it still buffering? I didn't get to see your message. Abhishek, can you help me? Is it still buffering? I will wait for you people to answer, but I mean, while you're answering, I would like to continue. Anemic is weak or feeble. I told you the whole concept of being anemic already. Cess is surcharges, जो विशेष कर होता है, एक टैक्स के ऊपर वाला टैक्स होता है. Perpetually is constantly, forever, continuously something is happening. Exceed is to agree, to comply. Untargeted means there is no specific aim, focus नहीं है, goal नहीं है, aim नहीं है. Temptation is a kind of allurement. Covenant is a pact and agreement. Sorely is severely or badly, मतलब बहुत ही तीखे तरीके से, in the worst manner, in fact, not just badly. Disrupted is disturbing, जो rhythm है उसको break करना. Subsume is absorb कर लेना, अपने में मिला लेना. Garner is to collect, प्राप्त करना. Fitment is classification, some kind of adjustment. Okay, fit करने के लिए adjustment करा जा रहा है, ऐसे समझो इसको, तो याद रहे. Part of speech of this word. Inefficiencies is noun. This sentence, no. The first sentence, I want you to tell me subject and verb. Eighth anniversary has coincided with something has seen in some time, highlighting the anniversary जो कि coincide हुई थी. Now this is not my main verb. This is explaining that something that explains this word anniversary. The anniversary has seen. I think there is a lag also because I am unable to see what you people are texting me, like replying. Let's see how it goes. Part of speech. It's the main verb. People are quiet, maybe not speaking. I don't know why. Let's quickly go to the summary. So, editorial highlights the disappointing GST collections. Of course, he is mentioning how it could have been better, pointing towards both sluggishness, economic sluggishness. Here, people are not buying things, but there are structural inefficiencies also. It argues that long pending reforms like inclusion of fuel, rationalization of the GST slabs, discontinuation of the compensation cess, ये सब होना चाहिए. While the center must share more taxes with states, states too must use the funds responsibly. So states को भी responsible होना है, but center को भी और tax का share देने की ज़रूरत है. Ending unjustified cess and simplifying taxation could help. One nation, one tax है तो ऐसा नहीं है that we have to go against it, but other things we can do. C is the answer. What does the editorial imply about the inclusion? That it is essential to fulfill the vision of one nation, one tax. So fuel भी include करो. He is in the favor of this. यार मुझे मेरे साइड से तो I can't find any buffering. me, it looks like a seamless experience. Just that your answers are coming a bit late, but it's not buffering, it's lagging. Answer to this question is B. The use of cesses is criticized primarily because they are not shareable with states. Up and above है ना वो, states को फायदा नहीं हो रहा है उससे. Excuse me. See, what does the article suggest about the continued existence of this? That it must be abolished now for its purpose is over. For the third one, answer is C. D is the answer. What larger principle does editorial believe should guide the policy? That is the trust between them. Federal independence? इसके लिए नहीं बोला है. वन नेशन की बात भी तो करी है ना. इंटरनेशनल की बात नहीं है. मैक्सिमल नो एक्सट्रैक्शन को तो कम करने बोला है. रेवेन्यू जीएसटी कम करने बोला है. एलिमिनेशन से ऑल्सो यू कुड हैव गॉट द आंसर डी. According to the editorial, why should GST rates be rationalized now? Because the existing multiple slabs complicate administration. वाइडन नहीं करना है. इंपोर्ट्स की बात नहीं हुई. WTO का बात नहीं हुई है. फैक्चुअल था ना आपके पास में. तो बी इज योर आंसर. कम टू एरर डिटेक्शन. The center must seriously consider the recommendations and implement it. Nahi, implement them. Is your answer. Implement them hoga because recommendations is plural. While taxation is important tool for resource mobilization, over reliance on cess can distort, okay, the fiscal federalism framework. Now, cess is uncountable, okay, usually it is uncountable. But understand, okay, the taxation is an important tool for mobilization. तो ओवर रिलायंस ऑन एनी टाइप ऑफ सेस, इसको हमें बनाना पड़ेगा सेसेस. which is something that we use जब हमें generalization करते हैं. अगर आपको singular रखना है तो फिर आप a says बोलोगे कि एक प्रकार का one type of text. This is a sentence that requires plural, at least because of the context यहाँ पे जो बोला जा रहा है. तो says will come. Not just about one specific type of text. Very easy, no? The finance ministry insists that reforming the system is necessary, not are, because reforming is a gerund and it is singular. Next one. Why insisted? What's wrong with the word insists? They always insist. They insist. So the specific ministry or specific organization insists. So simple present tense is fine. This is clarity issue. There is like clarity issue. There were multiple factors behind the weak collections, including policy inertia, excessive refund claims, and lowering of. Why we are saying this? We are naming nouns now: inertia, excessive claims. So let's change this to something that is more parallel and goes with the tone as well. So better we put it this way: reduced indirect demand. Okay, so reduce will act as adjective, indirect demand, inertia, claims. ये noun का parallelism आ जाता है. बहुत easy है. States continue to oppose the inclusion of something. Achieving a unified tax system will remain a distant dream. States plural है तो continue आएगा. Answer to 11.1 is B. Please understand. The word arbitrary carries two meanings. First meaning is something which is done in a random way. So anything that is by chance, random, there is no reason behind it, illogical. The second meaning of the very same word is being against democracy, being dictator, like a dictator, being autocratic. So this is the continued levy of a cess after the purpose is over, is fulfilled. Seems like a tyrannical act to the public. Public को लग रहा है कि ये तो अपनी मनमानी कर रहे हैं, डिक्टेटरशिप चल रहा है जैसे कि. That's the context here. So B is the answer. Should be easy. रीबिल्ड पब्लिक कॉन्फिडेंस, गवर्नमेंट मस्ट डिस्कार्ड आउटडेटेड चीज को क्या करेंगे, डिस्कार्ड नहीं करेंगे तो। नेक्स्ट वन, B is the answer. While GST reform aimed for simplicity, it inadvertently led to a more intricate tax structure. Intricate means complex. Strategy, the idea that states can depend on cesses for revenue, is a strategy that undermines. It's not a delusion. कुछ कोई ख्वाब दिन में बैठे बैठे नहीं देख रहा है. Not a story, not a narrative. Definitely A. Sorry, A is the answer. Sorry. The idea that this can depend on cesses for a revenue, it undermines federal principles. तो undermine कराने के लिए strategy नहीं delusion होगा. Sorry, I was being little delusional. A is the answer. Delusion not in the sense of hallucination, but in the context where we are saying it is mistaken. It's the wrong thing to do. 14th A. Pardon me, guys. A more equitable tax regime can potentially dash both compliance and consumption. हिंडर करेगा क्या, इक्विटेबल है. सप्रेस करेगा क्या, सेग्रीगेट करेगा, एक से दूसरे को अलग करेगा. नो, स्टिम्युलेट. इट विल पुश. Okay, it will bring some force. So